my favorite tree.
This guy?
Yep.
So this is your favorite tree in
This is my favorite tree in probably the world. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yo, Columbus, Ohio has your favorite tree. That's dope. Hey, what's up, Good Life? I'm here with Carolyn, here just talking about life lessons, getting to know each other a little bit.
On a tree, casually sitting on a tree.
Casually sitting on this tree with a blanket. It's not precarious at all. It's not dangerous.
Right.
So what's new with you? What's going on in your life? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I was just complaining to Ethan, my boyfriend, that I feel overwhelmed and tired and oh my God, but actually everything I'm doing, I love. I told you about this before, but I read this book called You're a Badass at Making Money, and it's the second time I read it, and this time I was like, oh my God, like I really want to go for it. I feel so unhappy if I'm not like risking things and like going for what I really want. So yeah, I hired a life coach, and
Whoa.
I decided that I want to work on my Instagram game and YouTube game and everything game and just be like a stand for the environment and just, yeah, do my part.
So is that your go for it? Your go for it is like about helping the environment and kind of being an influencer in that realm?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my go for it. I don't even know exactly what it looks like yet. Like I've just started this journey and I've been sharing things, but I can't start a business. I can't do anything else unless it's like making an impact in the environment.
And I guess like, are you also into like sustainable living, or what are you trying to get
So I'm
into?
trying to like live by example and document it, basically. So that's been a challenge. That's hard. Basically everything in the grocery store is like covered in plastic,
Right.
Even the produce.
Yeah.
So just like discovering like, oh, like I wanted to get chocolate, I can't get chocolate. Oh wait, there's one brand that has like paper wrapping. Yes, you know, like, but that's rare. Like that's very rare. So yeah, but it's Plastic Free July, you know.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Plastic Free July.
Yeah, so people are like trying to cut out more plastics this month.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm going to stop using grocery bags or straws.
It feels nice.
Yeah.
When you cut down. Like,
it feels good.
It feels really good.
Yeah.
I lived in a house with a bunch of roommates, and we went from like, we had to take out the trash like every other day. The trash was full because there were 10 of us in the house.
Okay.
But as soon as we started recycling and composting, we'd go a whole week without throwing away the trash.
Yeah,
like
right.
There's
compost builds up a lot. Because whenever you cook, there's like the heads of things, the bad parts of things. It's like everything.
Yeah.
Even paper towels you can compost.
You can pick just paper towels, just throw them
Yeah.
in. I usually use them as fire starters.
That's good.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
like,
really cool.
yeah.
So where did that desire to help with the environment come from?
I don't know, I grew up in the woods in Pennsylvania. Like, I grew up with black bears and my mom composted all the time. And I guess it just became clear to me that people don't actually live like that.
Yeah, that's unique.
Yeah, so I grew up with like this love of nature and going and playing in the woods every day. And people didn't have that. And they didn't understand like, some people don't even recycle, which blows my mind, so.
So what was that like growing up in like, was it rural? You were in the woods of Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I was in the woods.
So what was that like?
It was a great childhood because, I mean, it's just fun. You're swimming in the creek, you know? You're like buying Amish pies and your friends have four-wheelers and that's just what they do for fun.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but then I became a teenager and you know, that's when people start exploring other things besides just like being barefoot and free. Like you're dating a lot and doing drugs, and when you live in the woods it gets a bit boring. So some of my friends went down these interesting paths that I didn't want to go down, and luckily at that point we moved to Connecticut. So
Oh, okay, so you were able to kind of dodge some of the
I had like the
sketchier
perfect upbringing in that way. Yeah, like I moved to a city when I wanted more.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what kind of things did you discover in Bridgeport?
Well, Bridgeport is an interesting city. It is.
Yeah?
It is the hood, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was definitely like a culture clash going from the woods in Pennsylvania to like the hood in Connecticut, right on like the sea. Like it was so 100% different than what I was used to. It was very interesting. The culture was so different. Everyone was way more loud. They would like stop in the middle of the street and like yell down the street at people they knew. It was just like so different from what I was used to.
So like the reason why we want to live sustainably globally,
Yeah.
or when it comes to the environment, is because we want something that's going to outlive us, or like that works so well that it produces good things, like the earth. And if we don't take care of the earth, then it's going to stop producing things. It's no longer going to be beneficial, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like in relationships a lot of times, or just in life, the way that we treat life sometimes can be unsustainable.
What are your practices to have like good areas of life?
Yeah, to make areas of your life sustainable.
I think one thing that's helped me a lot is actually travel. Like I've spent some time in Europe and Central America and like exploring the US with my friends, and like took time to figure out what I want and what the world has to offer and what people are like around the world. Like that's something that was important to me. Like I didn't want to go straight into school. Like now when I explore Columbus, like I don't mind eating out alone. Like I actually like it. Like I like being alone in like a crowded restaurant and doing my own thing, or exploring a bookstore. Like that's fun for me. And I think just traveling has taught me that, like the joys of being in this world and exploring, and it just lights me up to do that. Like to be alone, but to be surrounded by people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the best thing ever. It's
Yeah.
like going to North Market and you're all alone, and you're eating something upstairs, but you're surrounded by people, and you can see people everywhere, and you get to look at them and smile at them.
It's super beautiful.
It's
right?
the best.
Yeah, and just being grateful for the people around is super cool.
Yeah, but you don't have to talk to them.
Yeah, which is also great.
There's no pressure, because sometimes talking just like ruins a moment, and you're like, I just want to be in silence and like enjoy life.
I feel that.
And then there's all this pressure to like talk and keep up a conversation, and sometimes I just feel more genuine on my own. Yeah.
I don't think you're alone in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because relationships and like talking to people takes effort.
Yeah.
I think for me, even just thinking like I'm always considering, I have to consider the other person a lot of times.
Yeah, right.
You know, and sometimes that takes more energy than I would like to put out. Where I'd much rather just sit with them and not talk at all.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the best?
Sometimes it's super nice. It's therapeutic almost.
Those relationships where you could just sit there and like literally not talk, or just...
Let's just take a moment.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Actually, is so nice. Like, look at the sun shining on the leaves.
It's pretty cool. Everybody has unique experience in life, but those experiences typically can benefit everyone, right? So I guess I'm curious, what is like a life lesson or some experience that you've had where you've come out with like something that you can hold on to, like something of value that if you could like teach the world or share that with people, what would that be?
I realize, especially like the past week, this is very clear to me, that when I'm not doing what lights me up or feels vulnerable, I just feel really depressed. I don't know. I think that's one reason why this You're a Badass at Making Money book like changed me and shook me, was I just realized how unhappy I am when I'm just settling and like doing what other people are doing or what's comfortable. Like, yeah, it's comfortable, but like, you know, I'm just so unhappy, and I'm either living comfortably and being depressed, or I'm taking risks that are like super scary and vulnerable and like feel impossible, and maybe I'll fail, but like at least I'll feel alive. So
I like that.
you know, there's so many people that go through life and are unhappy and just look at other people's Instagrams and they're just like, oh, like, you know, ugh, this person, and they just judge them.
Right.
Because they're not doing what they want in life.
Right.
Like, they're sitting comfortably on the couch instead of, you know, taking out a loan for the business of their dreams or whatever it is that they want to be doing.
It does seem like being able to like transform life happens in that vulnerable, scary place, right?
Oh, yeah, it's the only way. I think so.
So do you feel like you like those things because happiness is on the other side of them? Like those
It's
feelings?
not even, I feel like it's not even like happiness. So I also read this book called The Book of Joy. Have you read that one?
I've heard of this book.
Okay. Anyway, that's a bestseller.
Yeah.
I didn't read the whole thing. I read like the first chapter.
Okay.
But I got a lot out of that first chapter, and that was that joy we think of as like happiness and blah, blah, blah. But they were explaining that joy is like such a huge combination of all different emotions. Like when a woman gives birth, that's joy, but there's
Right.
so much pain.
Right.
And that's life. Like we're like, I want to be happy, but in reality it's like life is joy. Like it's everything.
Yeah.
And we see those other emotions as like, I don't want to be sad, but we just need to embrace it because it's all part of this experience.
Yo, that's beautiful.
Yeah, right?
I like that a lot.
I gotta write a book, I
Yeah,
think.
absolutely. I'd read it.
You think so?
Oh, I'd read it. I'd read it for sure. Yeah.
Maybe 2 pages long, maybe.
You-
At this
I would
point.
100% read it
Give
if it
me
were 2
50
pages.
years. I need my life experience.
Cool. I think I have a kind of a rebellious attitude,
Yeah.
and a lot of it comes from like the idea that this is my body and this is my life, and no matter how
Right.
much anybody cares about it,
Yeah.
like I'm the one suffering the consequences
Right.
of my actions. And
Yeah.
like, and I think part of being a rebel is like rebelling against yourself too, and like the expectations that you have for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And like the reasons why you can't do things. That's huge for me.
Wow.
It's like I think I tell myself I can't do things more often than anybody else does.
Yeah.
And
Right.
a lot of times I just gotta be like, bet, like screw you.
Yeah,
You know?
Exactly. Like, well, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah. I'm gonna prove you wrong, self.
it. Right. Yeah. Like, you're just getting in my way.
Well, hey, thanks for sharing with me.
Yeah.
Like I actually really valued that. That was really cool.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah. I'm glad we did this. Is there anything else that you'd like to share or say before we wrap up?
Y'all are real homies for watching this video. Follow me on all my social medias.
Linked in the description. Well, cool. Well, thank you. Thanks
What
so
do
much.
we do? Hug?
Sure.
Okay.
That was nice.
That was nice.